So what's going on, everyone? Today we're here with Danielle Champion. Now, some of you, if you had watched the show Welcome to Sweetie Pies and watched it from the beginning, you definitely know who Danielle is. She's not a face you don't know, but some of you may not know who she is, and we'll get into that as well. But Danielle, thanks for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Danielle, some people who may know about you from the show, but tell us about Danielle prior to Welcome to Sweetie Pies. We'd like to know, kind of how you grew up, etc.
Well, before Sweetie Pies, I was adopted. Just in general, I'm adopted. It's an all-white family, which is kind of funny because I was on a show about cooking fried chicken, which I knew nothing about at the time, but we'll get to that. So I grew up doing a lot of theater and pretty much did theater professionally from the time I was in 5th grade until out of college. And then also I did a lot of acting growing up. That was my pastime when I was younger. I did a couple movies and I also did some TV shows and other things. Commercials. I did a lot of commercials.
Okay, so you say you was adopted by a white family, right? Correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about that. About the white family that adopted you. I mean, do you ever know anything about your biological parents?
I did know some things about my biological parents, but I also, mind you, was not adopted until 5th grade. So the Champions, the family that adopted me, the white people, they were my foster family, but I went back and forth until 5th grade because it was a custody battle. But the family that I got adopted into, the Champions, are amazing. I don't think anybody could have been a better fit to raise me. They really made me a great woman. They taught me so many things, and they didn't, they embraced who I was. They embraced all sides of my ethnicity, and they really just helped me be whoever I really wanted to be.
Okay, so you say all sides of your ethnicity. What is that?
Black, white, and fabulous.
Black, white, and fabulous. Okay, cool. So I mean, I don't like to assume, with how our genetic makeup is, especially in the Black community. Because we come from, all sides, right? Okay, so was your mom white?
My mom was white and my father was Black.
Okay, so your mom, what was dad?
Black.
No. Where was he in the picture? Because you said you had got adopted. Your mom was white. I mean, what happened to him?
He was, he was really just like the dope man. So he was not around very much.
Okay, so you say he's a dope man. So what? Your mom had gotten involved with some drugs or something, or what happened with that?
Addiction to drugs.
Okay. So then he got, of course, unfortunately, what happens with kids. I mean, I've definitely seen that. Even in my own family, I had an aunt got on, drugs, and my uncle as well. My grandma had to go get them, so they wouldn't get in the system. So I know exactly, what you're talking about. So you took on the adopted family's last name.
Mm-hmm.
Was that something that's done in the paperwork, or that's something that they wanted to do, or how did that, come to pass?
Her last name changes to their name.
Okay. All right. So you grew up, with this family. So how did that work, at least with the Black side of you, though? I mean, because there's certain things that you may experience, that I've heard, even from some people grew up in all white neighborhoods, they eventually deal with somebody, they're going to say, oh, you Black, you're not one of us. But did you experience some of that?
No. I actually experienced more, you're white, you're not one of us. And that was more in school. But as far as growing up with the Champions and the entire neighborhood, I never actually experienced any type of racism. I actually didn't even know the difference between Black and white until I went to school and people started saying it to me.
Okay, so they was calling you white. So who were calling you white?
My Black friends would be like, "Oh, Danielle, you're so white," and my white friends would be like, a little bit later on when I started hanging out with more Black people, some of my white friends would be like, "Oh my God, you're so white." But as far as anyone in my family or even the neighborhood that I grew up with, I really didn't know the difference. It's funny because my mom has this video of this on one of my birthdays. And it was like when I first kind of noticed in my head that I was Black, but I didn't know what it was called. It was my birthday and my mom like made me like a little waffle or whatever. And there was a candle on it. And she like was putting it down. And, you know, of course she has the camera going because they're singing happy birthday to me before I go to school. And I like grab her hand and I'm like, Mom. And she's like, what? And I'm like, you're peach. You're not the same color as me. And like, that was when I realized it. But besides that, I didn't really have, you know, any problems with it until I got to school.
To school. Okay. So when you realized that you guys wasn't the same color, what did your adopted mom tell you?
I think she probably just laughed and she was like, oh my gosh, Danielle, you're right. But really the Champions are the most colorblind people in the world. And that's why I think I'm so blessed to have grown up with them, because to grow up without, you know, just learning to love regardless of color and not even seeing color, it really changes like your perspective on how you see others and see race altogether.
Okay, and I'm glad you kind of even brought some of that up. I mean, because you said in school you was told, and do you believe you was told by some, you know, let's say probably Black Americans that either, because I mean, looking at you look no different than some people in my family, right? With two Black parents, I got family members that got two Black parents that are more lighter than you, actually, in my family.
Well, I'm actually right now.
Do what?
I'm so tan right now. I don't even have anything in my color right now. And it's hard with the, you know, pandemic to go buy anything, but
right.
But sometimes I do look, you know, just Black. And other times I look like Hispanic, which I'm not, but.
Right. So do you think they told you that more so because you was raised culturally white? You thinking that's what they was getting at? Because you can say some of your white friends told you the same thing?
Yeah, because I talk very educated. You know,
that's interesting. So what do you mean you talk educated? I mean, is educated more leaning to white? I mean, I'm trying to understand that comment.
To some, you would really have to ask them, but using proper grammar and just, you know what I'm saying? My growing up doing theater and stuff, doing auditions, my parents would like get on me about articulating and using my grammar properly. And then switch whatever role I had. But that's who I was. I grew up talking even more proper than I do now.
Right.
I do think that African Americans use more slang, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Like some of the slang is cool. Even now, I use a little bit more slang because I have more African American friends than I did, you know, when I was super young. But I do think African Americans use more slang than Caucasians.
Well, if you want to go there, yeah, but not all of us. For instance, as a person that grew up in the Black community, we know how to do what we call, I guess we would call it maybe with code switching. We have to learn how to do that because as just being a Black American, we know around our friends, we talk a certain way, right? When we go to our jobs, our businesses, etc., we know how to speak, you know, proper. We don't go in there with any kind of slang, right? So of course, hang out with you, they're going to talk more slang with you, right? But I guarantee you had to go into a boardroom with them or some professional. They know how to do that. Then you got some Black Americans that don't even speak no kind of slang whatsoever. I mean, the same schools you went to, they got Black Americans that went there too. Because then I've heard people say that in the past, and you know, for us, just us as Black Americans, we like, listen, we all don't speak that way. Some of us don't even say the N word. You get what I'm saying? So it was very interesting that you made that comment. But so you grew up in that household. You was, you know, so now how did you end up in a place like Sweetie Pies that's just Black food, Black all day, you know, based on how did you end up there?
I went to an audition for the show. One of my friends, King Yella, hit me up. He saw that I did YouTube. I used to do my YouTube back then, which I still do now. But he saw that I guess he just watched a few of my videos and he was like, hey, I have an audition for you. I'm coming to pick you up. So he did. He took me to the audition and I got it. It was crazy though, because I went to the audition not prepared at all. I didn't even know what I was auditioning for. And he told me to be me. which is like very fabulous. I had like a crop top on. I had some heels on, some skinny jeans. I definitely didn't look, in my opinion, like I was going to apply for a job assistant.
Okay, so you had to audition for the show or audition for the job?
For the show.
Okay, so it wasn't naturally you just already working there and then they came up and had a show?
No.
Okay, so since you were auditioning for a show, that means producers and all these different people basically just chose you off of what they saw or whatever, right?
That it was either the producers or Tim. I didn't actually at that time have any communication with any producers. I just had communication with Tim.
Okay, with Tim. So you got it. So you was there basically almost to be like an actress or employee or both?
I would not say an actress because this is a reality TV show. Although in real life I am an actress, but I was there for the show. And then right after, like, I think the first episode, they were like, okay, we'll give you a real job here. And Kim told me it would just be simply answering emails and maybe opening mail, because it would make sense for me to actually work there if I'm, you know what I'm saying, on the show. But the only reason I had the job was because of the show. If there was no show, I would have not been at Sweetie Pies.
Okay, so since they did so on the show, you know, I remember, you know, you would be one to go in on people, say what you got to say, didn't put up with nobody's crap. From what I saw, now was that just really you, or was that the show?
I really don't put up with anyone's crap, but I do think things may or may not have been manipulated. Like certain things Tim would tell me, like, hey, Tim would tell me, don't let anyone, like the very first episode you saw when Janae flips out, and because I guess what's her name, Monique, calls Janae is Tim's baby mama, and was like, hey, there's this young girl in the office, she won't let me get the keys out of the drawer. Mind you, Tim, literally 10 minutes before the scene even happens, I'm just sitting in the drawer. I know I'm there to film. And I'm sitting in the closet, or whatever the office is. The office was like a closet. And I'm sitting there, and Tim comes in and tells me, hey, no matter what, don't let anyone touch this drawer. So I'm like, all right, that's easy. So the first person that comes in and tries to touch the drawer, I mean, it's ironic that that's the first thing she does. She tries to touch the drawer. And then, you know, I'm painted out as like a bad person and I have attitude. But I was just told, don't let anyone touch the drawer. So I think things were definitely manipulated more so by Tim than producers. And I don't know what the producers were telling Tim, but I know Tim would tell me certain things to do.
Okay, so you saying that all the attitude, sister girl type of things that you would kind of, you know, do on the show, you believe Tim was trying to get all that set up for the ratings?
Yeah. And but don't get it wrong, I'll still get an attitude with somebody. But like certain things like that, like, do you really think I care about a mailbox? I don't care at all.
Okay, so now we know. So it was when you say manipulated, it wasn't normally how you would act. Sometimes, yeah, you defend yourself fine. Okay, so you got to know the family. So you had a genuine relationship with Miss Robbie.
Can I touch base on one thing you said 1 second ago?
Go ahead.
It might be how I would act, but it might not necessarily be a situation that I would normally be in if I wasn't put in that situation, or if I wasn't shooting for a show.
Right. So when you would act that way, what kind of emails you would get?
Emails.
Yeah, like somebody would send you an email like, hey, you know, I saw you on the show, and you know how people respond on social media to you?
Oh yeah, okay. So more social media. I was like emails because nobody had my email. But you know, some people loved it. Some people were like, hey, they don't need to be treating you like that. Like a lot of times when I would be on the show with Maury, and I think the other girl's name was Michelle. They were like Tim's other little workers. And like it would just be stuff like they would always just like pick a fight. So a lot of times, yeah, that's how I would come off that way. But a lot of people would stand up for it. And the thing about me was a lot of people at first didn't like me, but over time would like grow to like me. because it would make sense. Like, why would anyone keep putting up with that all the time?
All right, so what was your relationship with Miss Robbie? Was it a genuine relationship outside it was being filmed?
My relationship with Miss Robbie was always good. It was never super close though. I would never just call her to see how her day was or anything. But
Why you say that?
We just weren't. She's just not someone I would call like randomly.
Okay, so you guys mostly had a business relationship, basically.
In that sense, yes. But also, I think a lot of people get confused. Like when I do my videos on my YouTube and I talk about sweetie pies or anything, a lot of people say, well, why wouldn't you tell Robbie about this, about what was going on? And I'm like, because Robbie wasn't my boss. Tim and Robbie had completely separate restaurants. They even had their own issues with each other having separate restaurants. So I guess that would have been, I loved Robbie. Anytime I did see Robbie and we hung out, it would be great. You know, we'd hang out with everybody. It would be great. She's such a sweet lady, but she wasn't really someone that I would ever answer to as far as business goes. Maybe a couple times Tim would send me over to her restaurant later on as my job there became more, you know, responsibility. He would send me over to her restaurant and I would help with a couple things or maybe help with something over the phone. But she wasn't really someone that I worked closely with.
All right, so you was talking about certain things that Tim was doing. So even when, you know, you and Tim kind of got into it and then finally, you know, you wasn't on the show anymore, was that something that he just kind of sparked up and like just like, whoa, where this coming from? Or it was already building up?
I'm confused on what your question is. Sorry.
Okay, so you eventually left the show, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Was it something that you felt that was just genuine that happened, or you just got tired of it and you just walked away?
I got tired of it and I didn't want to go to Houston. I remember coming out to LA and getting underpaid, and why would I go to Houston and uproot my life and do the same thing when at the end of the day, my whole goal in life is to be an actress and that's what I'm going for. So going to Houston wouldn't make any sense.
Right. Okay. So
he was going to go to LA probably like my third day of filming. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll stick around so we can go to LA.
Okay. So you stayed in LA trying to do your career and everything in LA. You doing your life, doing everything you're doing. Then all of a sudden that news came out, right? That Tim was involved in a alleged, incident, with the insurance and the family member. I would say alleged because there's no conviction, so we gotta say alleged. What was the initial response, when you heard about this alleged incident?
My initial response was just, oh my gosh. I think it was more just like shock because I found out about it before anybody sent it to me. And people sent it to me right away. I just happened to go look on the Shade Room. At the second, I think when I clicked on the post, it said like 10 seconds. It had only been up for 10 seconds. So I was really just in shock. And I just thought like, wow, that's so crazy. I don't know if he did it or not, but that's just really sad. And my initial thought was like, I hope Charles is okay. And I hope Robbie's okay. And everybody in the family, because that's just sad. That's a sad situation, like regardless of if it happened, if it's true or not, I don't know. But it's a sad situation either way.
I mean, do you think that he would be like just getting to know him? Do you think he would even be capable of that, or you believe that somebody could be, fabricating something on him?
Honestly, Tim has never talked to me about killing anyone, about trying to kill anyone. So I don't know if he could do it or not. I know my experience with Tim was that he wasn't that nice of a guy, but does that mean he could kill someone? Like, I don't know, especially your own family. That's kind of, but I mean, who knows?
So you say he wasn't that nice of a guy. What made you say that he's not a nice person?
Just the fact that he would, for ratings, fire his employees, me, Charles, anybody. There was times when I'd be filming with him and he just literally would curse me out. I'm already stressed out. All of your employees live with me. They can barely pay their part of the rent. and then you want to, suspend me, but then tell me that I can come back if I let him manage me. It's just very manipulative, and then cursing people out just to get a rating or just to get someone to cry. When anybody else would have just went up to me and said, "Hey, champ, can you cry in this scene?" And I'd be like, "Sure." But he would go so far to really try to, hurt someone's feelings. So I don't know.
Why people are living with you though?
People lived. We were all roommates, but I was the only one who was able to put the apartment in our name. And Tim gave us, I think, 2 weeks to find an apartment. So I found one first. There was enough room for everybody. Everybody came live with me.
Isn't that kind of aggravating though? Everybody's living in your house.
I mean, no, because at the time I saw it as all of our house. You know what I'm saying? Like we're all working, trying to pay rent. I think what was aggravating was the fact that he knew I am the one who has it in my name, and he would just suspend me just to toy with me. There'd be times he'd be like, "Hey, I'm gonna come by and talk about you coming back to the restaurant," and have me sit at home all day and never come. Like, who plays with people's time like that?
Yeah, seriously, I don't understand that.
So did that.
So do you feel that he was just, basically just verbally abusive then? Is that safe to say?
I think so, for sure.
Okay, so all the times that he would, on the show be with his son's mother, Janae, and all the issues and problems, was that for real? For real? That was with the show too.
I believe the issues with Janae and Tim were for real. I don't know for sure because I was never in their relationship and I never actually cared that much about their relationship. Because, if it didn't have to do with me, I'm focused on something else. I'm trying to pay this rent because I'm over here suspended. So I don't know though. I think it was real. Do I think maybe some things were done on purpose? Yeah, because I genuinely believe he brought me in as his assistant to piss her off. Probably, right? He doesn't really need an assistant. I didn't really assist that much.
Right, because there was different. And I'm trying to remember episodes where she was kind of insinuating like he was trying to holler at you or something like that.
I think maybe Tim made it look that way, but that's really the best thing I can say about Tim. And the best thing about working with him is that he never tried to holler at me. Thank God. He never did. He never, ever made a move on me.
But he put you in a situation where you got this angry woman coming at you with attitude and you had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
Right. So let me ask you this. Since all this is coming out, everybody is asking you questions. What's been like for you in LA since you transitioned out of all that, sweetie pies, is it definitely what you've been looking for in LA?
I will say my time in LA has been like such a hard, long road. Leaving Sweetie Pies was like, I should have did it so much earlier. I think, and I don't want to sound ungrateful for, my chance to be on the show. That was great. But I even made a YouTube video about this a while ago. And I just think that if you're miserable somewhere, or if you're, if you're just really unhappy somewhere, you should just leave. You shouldn't stay in that situation because you think you can't do better. And I think with all of the ways that Tim would treat me, and I guess it is verbal abuse, but I think just dealing with that for so long, I started to believe myself that I couldn't actually do any better, and forgot all the movies I did before it, and forgot all of the theater I did before it, and all of the paid acting I got before Sweetie Pies. And there was a point in my life when I really thought I couldn't do any better than Sweetie Pies. And then when I finally stopped, I had to get a different job. I had to try to get new representation for acting. I had to really start over, and I was broke. I went broke working for Sweetie Pies. All my money that I saved up acting as a kid, gone. Because I'm sitting here trying to pay rent, there's even a time he had me work for Jennifer, and I'm driving all the way downtown, lugging suitcases of clothes around, and I'm not even getting paid for that.
Wow. So you weren't even getting paid?
Not for that. And if the thing was, I don't want to say I didn't get paid, because I got paid in general, but let's say maybe I was at the restaurant for 40 hours a week, or like, let's say 35, because I don't think I could go there for 40 hours a week because I would lose my mind because I'm not getting paid enough. I would maybe get paid for 20. And that doesn't count all the times I'm at home running extra errands, going to when Tim had that office at, where did he have, at something, Sunset and Gower Studios. Tim had an office there, and I would go there, be there for hours and not get paid that much. And not only that, but I took a pay cut from St. Louis to LA.
So hold on. So Tim is cashing those Oprah Winfrey Network checks, but he not breaking bread with you though.
No, breaking crumbs.
Wow, that's interesting. That is very interesting. Well, you're in LA. You say LA is hard, and a lot of people go to LA to act, to sing, to do it. Whatever that goes on in LA. So what makes LA so hard? Because me personally, I've been to LA. I've been to California, and anybody who know me know California is not my place. And I can give you 1,000 reasons why. But what makes LA so hard for you in the entertainment business?
I think really what made LA so hard for me was just coming from that situation and how mentally my mind was just messed up from that, and my confidence was messed up. And really, I was just spending so much time in a situation that wasn't furthering me. But another thing that I think makes LA difficult for others when they come, and even me too, is just it's expensive. My rent is like 3-4 times what my first apartment was in St. Louis. 3-4 times that much, and that's not counting utilities. So it's very expensive. Also, it's you can get distracted. Just like I feel like Sweetie Pies was a little bit of a distraction for me after a while. It was cool for the first year, but like after a while, you know what I'm saying? I'm making less money, and I didn't even know I was going to get a pay cut. I didn't know I was getting a pay cut till I saw my check. And then Tim just told me, oh, it'll change soon. Never changed. So I just think it's easy to get discouraged out here. It's easy to lose your way. But if you come out here, if you have a clear idea in your head of what you want to do, where you want to go, and you stick to your path and you don't get distracted. I spent a lot of time doing assistant work after Sweetie Pies. And even that, like, being an assistant has nothing to do with being an actress. If you want to be an actress, you need to find some type of job in the entertainment field, whether it be background work, stand-in work. Me now, YouTube. I can pay all my bills with YouTube. So that's great. But like, you need to be in your field so that you can be happy. It was crazy because just a year ago, I was still kind of unhappy out here. And I was like, yo, if I don't get it together by this time next year, I'm going home. That's exactly what I said, because I was like, you know what? I could be broke in St. Louis and be around my family. I could be broke in St. Louis or I could have a job that I don't want. And I could do that in St. Louis. I don't have to be in LA to have a job I don't want. I could be around my family. So if I'm going to be around my family, I'm going to make it count. I'm going to be doing something in entertainment. And since I really took that serious, I worked on my YouTube. I started putting videos out every day. I started writing and creating content so that I could play the roles I wanted to play until I booked a role that I wanted to book. I started going on more auditions, and I just slowly, but with consistency, it started to work. And finally, I'm happy. And it's crazy because that's the first time I said that out loud, but I told myself, if I don't do it within a year, I'm going home. And it's been a year, same time last year, and I'm so much happier. So much happier.
So did you did you join the SAG?
No.
Okay, because I know people in the SAG, don't they get a little bit more jobs and representation than freelance?
Sometimes. That's a tricky one because it depends on what it is. I have the offer to join now, so I probably will have to, but I've booked jobs in like where I didn't have to be SAG, and sometimes they won't book you if you are SAG. Sometimes they won't book you if you're not SAG. So it just depends on what you're doing. But now I think I will probably have to switch and join, which will be good. So then my rate will be higher for some things, but I'm at that point now where I'm booking those type of things. Before I wasn't, I was still recovering.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Say, what you out in LA? Did you have a lot of rappers trying to get you in music videos?
For sure.
You say for sure. It's like it's like now when they want you to be in music videos itself, and you say you've done some shoots, right, with some music videos already.
No, I've done a music. I just did a music video for a friend from St. Louis, but you're not gonna see me in anybody's music video, like any of your favorite rappers right now. I'm not saying that I would never do a music video, but you're not gonna see me out there twerking. You know, like that's not really my thing. I do know how to dance. I danced tap, jazz, ballet, hip hop for years. Got paid for it. I danced in the opening number of the Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. But I just think that for me personally, I'm not going to be out there twerking. It's just not my thing. But if there's a music video where there's some acting, maybe all I got to do is look cute and vibe, and the money's right, I might do it because I'm about my money. So I might do that. But it just has to be something that fits me.
Yeah, I hear that. We definitely got enough twerkers out there. Well, we'll get a lot of people caught up in LA though, because you said LA is hard, and you mentioned the money, but some people just get caught up in LA, and it changes them, like in a way that it's not good. Like, what are those pitfalls?
The number one thing I think gets people caught up in LA is the money, and I think it's doing anything to survive. I know a lot of I know a lot of women now. There's all these different platforms. There's OnlyFans, there's all of this stuff. And while I don't think OnlyFans is necessarily bad, and I'm not even saying I'll never have one. Right now, I don't. I've never had OnlyFans, not selling any pictures like that or anything. But I just think that at this point now, with things being so expensive, even before the pandemic, and people, you see other people on Instagram and life looks so fabulous. And half the time, these women are sleeping on air mattresses. Y'all, my first 2 years in LA, I slept on an air mattress. No, okay, maybe not my first 2 years. Like from that time that all of us in Sweetie Pies moved into an apartment together that I signed for, from that time, for about 6 months, I had an air mattress. So, like, it's people out here making stuff look fabulous, and we're watching everyone else, and we're trying to keep up with the Joneses, to where we finally decided, you know what, let me sell a little bit of my soul so I can get some money. So I can look like I'm happy. That's what gets a lot of people caught up. Also, drugs.
Yeah, because last time I went to LA, and you know where the 1010 Wilshire at?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was at the 1010 Wilshire, and they had, about 2 years ago. And after the full day and everything, we went to that event called Politicon at the time. So they had like this event at the rooftop up there. And I didn't even know it was gonna be an event. I thought it was gonna be just for the people I was with. I go up there just like in my t-shirt, shorts, and Jordan slippers at the time period. And everybody up there just dressed to impress. And then I'm talking to people up there, and there's one lady said, I really admire how you even let this stuff get caught up with you. I'm like, I noticed it was like you get a vibe of people trying to be too fake. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm from the South. I can kind of read fake real quick. I'm like, bro, I ain't about to perpetrate a fraud for y'all. See people in LA renting cars. Look, I'm looking at this one dude had pulled up in a Rolls Royce. I'm looking at him, and I'm like, dude, you smell like you don't really own that car. I mean, because it's a certain look people have when they own certain things versus when they don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, what is it about it? Like LA, everybody want to perpetrate a fraud. Like, why? It doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to me either. And there's even a time where, like, I caught myself like, hold on, you're doing it, you're making the money for it, but you don't need to show everyone. You don't need to try to constantly show that, because who are you trying to prove it to? You or the other people? And when you stop doing it for yourself and you start doing it for a look, that's when you lose yourself. And when you start comparing these other people's, Instagrams and these profiles that look so amazing when it's probably fraud too. It's probably not really that great. She's probably on an air mattress, or she's probably unhappy. And you're sitting here trying to keep up with someone else who's not even really happy. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a really nasty cycle.
Yeah, it is. That's why I said I started looking at the gas is expensive, the food's expensive. You have a state tax out there. versus here in Texas, we don't have a state tax. The gas is definitely a lot cheaper. You can get more property than you can get. And I'm like, I'm in Houston. A home here, go over there and look at a home there. You pay $2 million for a home that you probably pay $400,000 or $500,000 for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But now Atlanta has been the new spot also for Black entertainment. Have you ever tried to go out to Atlanta?
I thought about it, and I might go for some work, but I heard they be breaking in people's houses out there, and I'm really not for that.
Well, crime's everywhere. They break people's house everywhere. I can tell you that.
I heard they break in people's houses in Atlanta. Like everybody, anybody I know that lived in Atlanta, they're like, oh yeah, they got me. But like, I'm not gonna be cool if they got me. I'm gonna be pissed.
Well, what were they living at in Atlanta? Were they in Buckhead? What were they?
It matter. You need to talk to some of your Atlanta friends. It does not matter where you lived. They're breaking in everywhere. Your cars everywhere.
Well, I talked to a lot of people from Atlanta. Matter of fact, I just interviewed a lady from Atlanta. Actually, she's a model from out there, and had a long conversation with her. She didn't mention that.
You gotta ask her. You gotta have her back and ask her. It's an epidemic.
Well, hey, Pookie and Ray Ray trying to live now. I tell people that Pookie and Ray, if you let Pookie and Ray Ray get you, he gonna get you.
I won't be there for work. But only time I've been to Atlanta is I literally flew in with Tim and everybody for some release party. I think it was a Sweetie Pie's release party. I don't know, but we flew in.
Yeah, but I don't know. Last time I went to Atlanta, it was a good experience. So I can't even complain about it. So Danielle, go ahead.
I heard they have good food. Everybody knows I'm really
yeah. No, the food was good. The food was good. Let me tell you about Atlanta. Atlanta for me was very positive because I seen so many Black people just owning businesses, being successful. And, in this country, they always try to promote, Black people not to, like I said, just the propaganda, actually. But Atlanta was just so positive for that. And that's what I liked about, Black people there. It was just positive. It's like, man, okay, you can do something with yourself. It's not all, downtrodden. You know what I'm saying? So Atlanta for me is just, Houston, Atlanta, I don't know. I like those two cities. That's just how I feel about that. But then, yeah. Tell people, how they can, watch a YouTube channel and be a part of anything else you have going on.
All right, you guys. So if you want to watch some more Danielle, all you got to do is go to my YouTube. It's Danielle Champion. Hopefully it'll be in the description of this. But it's YouTube Danielle Champion, on IG, and everything else. It is Watch Danielle.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll put that in the pinned comment where you can go check out her Instagram and you can go check out her YouTube channel. So Danielle, we definitely want to thank you, for joining us today and having this, candid conversation on some things I didn't know that was going on with Mr. Tim at the time. But everything is going on with Mr. Tim at the time. But everything is good, and you be blessed.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for having me.